Hey, good evening, guys. Welcome. How is everyone? I hope you're doing just fine. It's good to be here. It's good to see you, and it's good to be seen by you. Welcome to the show. Hey, it's Tuesday. Things are different because today starts with T, not with an M. With an M. I don't know. Anyway, it's wonderful to see you, Damien, Lord Corion. Welcome to the show. As you remember, last night we were looking at Eldritch Wizardry, the forbidden knowledge of Eldritch Wizardry. That's right, we dove into that. We're going to look more at that over the next hour. And then in the second half of the show, folks, ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages, if you have not seen it already, you are in for a treat because we will be live streaming first edition AD&D. Now, I must apologize. It has been a whirlwind the last few days, and I have not had a chance to get a Dwarven Forge setup going on the table for everyone. If you've seen Dwarven Forge before, you know it's epic. It's wonderful looking stuff, and we're going to return to using that for your viewing pleasure and for the edification of the players and information of the players in likely our next episode, depending on what they do. I'm a little studio here, and it's fine. That's not a complaint, I didn't say somebody set up more room or anything like that. Hello, room service, send up a larger room. But I will say that the whoops, that's not what I want. That's what I want. I will say that the amount of space limits exactly how much of my Dwarven Forge up there on the ceiling. No, it's not about follow me and crush me. Dwarven Forge! And it just piles in on me, and that's the end. But it does impact how much stuff I can have laid out. So if the party goes to point A and wraps up the game there, and we haven't revealed through the use of the Fog of War cloths, the table layout, then between games I have to move things. But the problem is this space that I'm in, it's good for 5 or 6 people around the table. That should give you an idea of how much square footage I'm working with. Like 11 feet, 9.5 feet, or something like that. So having just a gargantuan layout for Dwarven Forge is not a thing. It's not something I can do. What does this mean to you guys? What does this mean to the viewers? What this means to you, the viewers, is that tonight's live stream and possibly future live streams will not be televised. No, they will be televised. Just the miniatures and Dwarven Forge layout may make appearances and it may not, because if you guys are like, we've taken too many casualties, evac, fall back to the main entrance, lay down suppressing fire, let's get out of here, then, you leave the dungeon that I have set out, that I have laid out, that I've set up the table, and don't do anything with it for the rest of the night. And the camera's just kind of pointing at one room that you guys were in. So you see where it can be more of a, let's do this when we know we're going to have a set piece kind of thing. So I hope you guys understand that. That is why we're live streaming AD&D, but it's all theater of the mind right now. It's all in the mind. So we'll get to that on the back half of the show. Because last night we were talking about Eldritch Wizardry, and we took a look at psionics and what they do to individual character classes. We introduced a new class, the playable Druid, which is really interesting. And we started looking at new and more terrifying monsters. And that's what we're gonna get into today. So before we do that, before we jump back into supplement 3, Vinny says, took a moment to get my dual monitors set up. Well, good for you, sir. Oh, speaking of dual monitors, we a friend of the show. I would call the expenditure involved to be even though it doesn't show up on the website, a patronage thing. And I thank Mark very much. I'm getting a nicer, newer monitor. One of these will retire, and the other one will continue to serve. Even in death, I still serve. So I'll be able to see your smiling faces even better. No, wait, that's not how that works. Anyway, I'll have a little bit more screen real estate, and it'll be easier for me to juggle windows. Hopefully, knock on wood. So anyhow, so big thanks in advance to Mark for donating the monitor. We appreciate that here on the show, and that's the kind of you guys are so awesome. Like, we're all just gamers. I don't care what walk of life you're from, we're all gamer guys. We all hang out, we all have fun together, and we talk about fun things. So, oh yes, Lord Corion says, and more terrifying psionics charts. Yes, more terrifying psionics charts. Let's go look at more terrifying psionic stuff, shall we? Let's. So, it's 1976. We have acquired a stack of Dungeons and Dragons books, a few copies of the Strategic Review. We've heard that there's a new magazine coming out called The Dragon that intrigues us. But right now, we've just spent a $5, which is about a day's wages in 1976. Maybe a little less. I think inflation had kind of started to take off then. But anyway, we now have Eldritch Wizardry in hand, and we've been flipping through it, hanging out in the mall, which is across the street from the hobby shop. We've got our hot dog and our orange Julius in hand. Let's dive right back in and have a crack at it. A cracking read. Don't crack your read. Let me see. There it is. There's Abode Reader. I worked at a company once, and we had a very nice gentleman programmer, but he called it Abode Reader all the time, and I don't think he realized it was Adobe. I think he honestly had the, what do you call it when you flip a word, dyslexia, and was calling it Abode all the time. And he never did it with like a snicker, like you can install Abode Reader or anything like that. Just and it was in his emails and everything. So if it was a joke, it was a private one. All right. So here we go. Now, we came up to saving throw matrix. I don't think I need to worry about that because I can see you guys. I'll come back to it. Saving throw matrix. Demons detailed in the next part of the supplement. Guys, this book has demons in it. Gain saving throws according to their number of hit dice, except demons with 10-sided, 12-sided, or 20-sided dice for determining the number of hit points they have. Basically, each hit die that a demon possesses equals 1 level. However, with regard to demons with 10 or 12-sided hit dice, the number of levels is 50% greater than the number of dice, round up, while demons with 20-sided hit dice are considered as having a level equal to twice their hit dice. 8 hit dice, 20 hit die monster, 16 hit dice saves. You scared yet? I am. Example, a demon having 6 12-sided hit dice would be 9th level. On having 3 20-sided dice would be of 6th level. Furthermore, demons gain the most favorable saving throws available to a corresponding level fighting man or magic user, remembering that all demons have a basic magic resistance in regard to that form of attack. Wand, staff, rod, spell, peanut butter, Europe, hike. Sorry. Demon princes are always superior in their saving throws in that they are typically totally invulnerable to certain forms of attack. For instance, Orcus is not affected by either poison or a death ray of any sort, and Demogorgon cannot be turned to stone. There's that Demogorgon again. That is silly. When is that ever going to have any cultural significance? I certainly can't imagine it. They should have just left him out of Dungeons and Dragons. It is a ridiculous name. Let us move on. So we have additional spell tables, and here's Druids. Predict weather, locate animals, detect snares and pits, detect magic, purify water, fairy fire, produce flame, Volcano God's favorite druid spell of all time, locate plants. speak with animals, cure light wounds, obscurement, create water, heavy metal. Oh, I'm sorry, that's heat metal, warp wood. And it goes on like that. Pyrotechnics, protection from fire, call lightning, cure disease, hold animal, plant growth, water breathing, neutralize poison, and just on and on down. I'm not going to run through all the spells because stepping away from the meta, we know what these are, we know what they do, but here is the introduction of these spells. We still have the Balrog. The Tolkien estate must not have sued yet. Now, at this point, yes, they had. They jumped as soon as AD&D was released, which is why it was gone somewhat. It is more prevalent than not. Halflings are hobbits are now halflings. But beyond that, the only deletion is treants and one, not the many, but one reference to Balrogs is gone. The rest of the books, they get referred to as hobbits and Balrogs. So they literally just changed like a page. And then the overall of halflings. This is a badass illustration. I love this illustration. That is, I cannot read that. You know what? Let me look at my actual physical copy because that bled a little bit there. See if I can find it. Come on. You silly. Well, I could if I had reading glasses on. It's not as blurred there. If anybody wants to look in their copy of Eldritch Wizardry and tell me whose name that... Oh, it's there. It just resolved. Gary Quaps's... I'm sorry. So we're on page 13. And we can look this up. Gary Quapes. So let's zip back over to page 13. All right. So again, we're not going to go through spells, but we are going to look at psionic abilities because these are intriguing. These are very intriguing. So let's look at these. So basic abilities, cost per usage, reduction, none. Expansion, special. Levitation, 1 point per turn. Domination, special. Mind over body. Invisibility, 2 per turn. Precognition, special. Suspend animation, none. Body equilibrium, 1 per turn. Clairaudience, 2 per turn. Clairvoyance, 2 per turn. Body weaponry, none. See, this is where Eldritch Wizardry psionics start to go off the rail. They go off the rail in AD&D fairly quickly, but it's here that they really start to just fly off into the stratosphere and are too powerful. Superior abilities, energy control, special, telekinesis, 3 per turn, dimension walking, special, astral projection, molecular rearrangement are both special. Molecular manipulation is 50. That's a chunky one. Body control is 5 per turn, and mind bar is none. Now, this is the abilities that fighting men, including paladins and rangers, and thieves, including assassins, get. I am actually more in line with breaking it up like this than doing as it does. Well, I don't know. This is quite a raft of stuff. I think rolling for it in the player's handbook is probably the better way to do it. Probably. Magic users, including illusionists, detection of evil or good, detection of magic, ESP, hypnosis, levitate. And guys, if I hit one and you're like, hey, I really want to know about that, let me know. But let's see. Much the same. We have one here that's not above: molecular agitation, etherealness, shape alteration. Dimension door is 10. Just out of the gate. Clerics, excluding monks and druids. Excluding, not including, excluding. Who was a 16-year-old illustrator that could two-hand art? Well, there were a few of them. There was Tracy. There was Deb Larson who worked on this book. Gary Quaspes there. Anyway, so clerics, excluding monks and druids, detection of good and evil, empathy, levitation, 11 per turn. Wow. That may have supposed to have been 1 per turn and we got a bad scan on it. Hypnosis, domination, cell adjustment, mind over body, body equilibrium, molecular rearrangement, aura alteration, precognition, telepathic projection, dimension walking, astral projection, mass domination, and probability travel. I may go to Florida. I may go to New York. I don't know. Oh, you're asking. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that was D&D related, Michael. My apologies. So here we go, and it breaks them out. Reduction is the ability to cause the body to become smaller in size. The reduction is approximately 1 foot per level. The individual possesses the ability so that after 6 levels, the individual can become as small as a tiny insect. You begin to see where blending OD&D and AD&D, I think, would have been better with psionics. Expansion is the ability to cause the body to become larger in size. The expansion is approximately 2 feet per level of the individual until a maximum of 12 levels. An additional growth of 24 feet can be attained. Increase in mass and strength is proportionate so that at maximum growth, strength increase equals that of a storm giant strength. One may remain at maximum size for 2 turns, but every level less than maximum increases endurance by 1 turn, so that if potential expansion was 12 feet, expansion to an additional 6 feet would allow 6 feet only would allow the individual to remain at this for 2 + 3 game turns. Oh, there's our little Russian spam bot. Let's just throw you away. Boit, gone. Okay. And then we've got levitation. Domination, the ability to force another to do your will. This is called being married, y'all. The use of this ability requires great concentration, and it uses psionic strength points at a rate of 1 point per level of the creature being dominated per minute of domination. If the domination requires the dominated to perform actions which are greatly against his will, the expenditure of psionic strength points is doubled. Let's see. In OD&D, monks couldn't get psionic powers when later editions would have psionic variants of the monk psionic variants of the month, including prestige classes in 3 and 3.5. Yeah, the psionic monk was a big thing in 3rd edition, if I recall correctly. All right, let's see. Invisibility. Yeah, that's, invisibility. Precognition. Anything that takes up this much text is going to be a, oh boy. The ability to estimate the best probable course of action or to estimate the probable outcome of an undertaking. This power applies only to the relatively immediate future. Estimation becomes more accurate with increased levels of possessing the ability, provided the number of unknown factors remains constant. Precognition accuracy is also a factor of combined intelligence and wisdom scores. So if you have 18 wisdom and intelligence combined, that's 36. And the thing you're doing is difficult. You have a 40% chance of accurately predicting whether or not it would be good or bad. For every level the ability is possessed, the probability of being able to correctly precognate goes up. Anybody driving by this stream, like just flipping through it, like, on their phone in their car or whatever, that's hearing me talk about that is like, this is some kind of weird math channel or something, computer programming, what? It goes up by a percentage equal to the level cumulative, but never beyond a maximum precognition probability of 99%. So there's always a chance you could be wrong. So you're saying there's a chance, right? The expenditure of psionic strength is directly related to the number of unknown factors which must be precogged, i.e., if there are 6 basically solvable unknown factors, then it costs 6 points. Oh, my Lord, this is making my head spin. and the cost is not known to the individual precognating until after the fact. In order to precognate the results of a melee, for example, each attack must be made and counted as an unknown. And in a melee with several individuals involved, with several monsters, the cost per melee round could easily be 10 or more points. So, DM, if you were a chump and you let your player have this power, you would have to determine by having the melee how many blows roughly it would take. Oh my God, this would be a mess. Dungeon Minister says, I have to miss this to put the boys to bed. Oh, well, I'll catch it in the archive copy. Roll a 20. Absolutely, Dungeon Minister. You will be missed. The monk change was probably influenced by Sweetheart Kung Fu movies and the popularity of fighting games in the 90s. Yeah, probably. Now, all the way at the bottom, this should have been at the top. Precognition relies entirely upon the referee, and he must use utmost care when handling this ability usage. If I do this for every power, I will stomp right over my AD&D game that I'm going to live stream for you guys tonight. So that's just an example. Let's move on to demons. You get it? There's some weird powers. We want to get to demons. Demons, demons, demons. Now, here's one I am going to stop on, though. Cell adjustment for clerics. They can heal wounds or cure diseases. The psionic strength is 2 points per 1 point of damage. The cost to cure diseases is a base of 20 for a minor, and it must be adjusted upwards from there by the referee for serious disease or advanced cases. In addition, the number of points of damage which can be healed during a 24-hour period by the possessor of this ability is dictated by the level of mastery he has. For each level, he gains a 10-point ability, so that at a second level of mastery, for example, up to 20 hit points can be healed. That almost fixes cell adjustment. That almost fixes cell adjustment. It really does. It's not like that in AD&D. It was just like, just going full Benny Hinn, just pew, 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 pew. Just healing people left, right, and center. And it shouldn't be that way. I like this cell adjustment. Hey, Ricky. Ricky was a young boy. He's in the comments now. So I like that cell adjustment. I do. Let's scroll down some. Druid Spells. Okay, so we have Druid Spells explained. Very nice. We know what Druid Spells do. Okay, so here we go. And we have a lovely drawing by David Sutherland there. We have a couple of type demons, Marilith, and right behind him, a Nalfeshni attacking these two. And yes, there are naked breasts in the book. It's still a very well-drawn image, regardless. Monsters and treasures. The monsters. Monster reference table. Hostile and benign creatures. I would say in here they're almost exclusively hostile. I know, right? Isn't that great art? Monster reference table. Hostile and benign creatures edition. So we have demons, types 1 through 6, throwing succubi in there. We have some footnotes. If they're in lair, you're going to run into 1 to 6 of them on a roll of under 76%. From 1 to 6 mixed demons on a roll of 76 to double nuts. Die 1 to 6 for type, no succubi, orcus, or demogorgon. If not in lair, then the number appearing is 1 to 3. There's nothing here that's benign. Oh, no, I take that back. I said it and then I made it. Coatl, Chiron, and Shadu are benign if you're nice to them. Everything else here is bad. Just bad. So we have some corrections to monsters, so this will help clear up things. Tritons have psionic abilities of magic user type. 1 in 10 will have the ability, and if there's 100, 1 will absolutely have this ability. If the abilities are present, roll a 12-sided die to determine the number of them, then randomly select them according to the guidelines for psionic selection. Psionic Fishman. Attack and defense modes are subject to the number of psionic abilities present in the individual Triton. Mind Blast is not possible. Imps are great. Yes. Are imps in here? No. Now remember, this is only demons. Devils don't come in until AD&D. Unless they're mentioned in the Dragon or Strategic Review, we'll have to look at that. Titans are 60% magic resistant, and they can have psionic ability. Liches may possess psionic powers. Just in case liches weren't awful enough, they can have psionic powers. Assume any lich had a base intelligence of sufficient merit to make psionic ability possible. Check percentile score normally, and if it is over 90, the lich has abilities. Good Lord. Check potential in standard fashion. Abilities are base 6 plus 2 to 12 magic user powers. Attack and defense modes are standard. Abe Sapien. Yeah, there you go. Could be. Psionic Fishman. Basilisks functions as does the touch of a cockatrice, detailed above. Extends into the astral and ethereal plane, so its touch can affect creatures therein as well. No ghosting on this guy. This will kill an astrally projected person and turn the ethereal person to ethereal stone, which cannot be seen except by those creatures able to see the ethereal. Yow. And Basilisk and Medusae, the Gorgon extends into the astral, as does the cockatrice, so its breath has effects therein, as detailed above. And we have this, I think that's Tracy Lesh's work of a lich doing lichy things. Horrible, horrible lichy things. Catableeps, invisible stalkers. Now, here's where we get gray ooze and yellow mold having psionics from. Because remember, that comes up in AD&D. Exceptionally large individuals will have a latent psionic ability, and if psionic powers are used within 6 inches of them, they will prepare a psychic crush from 21 to 121 psionic strength points and directed at any individual within range who uses psionic abilities. Gray ooze with this ability is no more frequent than 1 in 10, and even 1 in 20 is not too infrequent. After loosing its psionic ability, the gray ooze is psionically helpless for several hours. However, it cannot then be psionically attacked. Yellow mold. Remember, we have psionic yellow mold in AD&D, folks, and it's all Eldritch Wizardry's fault. They can psionically attack, and there's all the details. Demons. Each type of demon, as well as demon princes such as Orcus and Demogorgon, have many extraordinary characteristics, and those which are not common to all the ilk are dealt with in separate paragraphs accordingly. Demons all have the following characteristics in common: infravision, teleport no error, cause darkness in varying degrees of effectiveness, and open a gate, varying degrees of success according to type. Demons are chaotic and evil. The smarter and stronger rule those of their kind who are weaker and less intelligent. The less intelligent will attack without question and fight until slain. No morale rolls for these guys. Demons of type 5 and above are not actually slain when their material form is killed in combat. Their material form being removed from their use, the demon in question is thereby forced back to the plane from whence it originally came, to remain there until a century has passed or until another aids it to go forth once again. Demons will never willingly serve anyone or anything. If forced to serve through magic or threat, they will continually seek a way as to slay their master/captor. Those to whom demons show a liking are typically carried off to the demon's plane to become a slave, although a favored one. Demons frequently roam the astral plane. Their attention is also attracted by persons in an ethereal state. Check normally for wandering monsters, assuming a 10% chance of a demon appearing if a wandering monster is indicated. If the name of a particularly powerful demon is spoken, there's a chance that he will hear and turn his attention to the speaker. A base 5% chance is recommended to the referee. Unless prepared to avoid such attention or control the demon will thereupon immediately kill by whatever means are most expeditious to the one pronouncing his name. Little Orcus on his throne, little Orcus all. And there we have the type 1. Demon roles must be played carefully, cleverly, and forcefully by referees incorporating these fearsome beings into their campaigns. That's Dave Sutherland's drawing, by the way. Type 1. These are amongst the weakest of their kind, and they resemble somewhat a cross between a human and a vulture. Their magic resistance is only 50%. Strength is standard. Intelligence is fair. They may be struck but with normal missiles and by normal weapons. Darkness caused by them is the typical 5-foot radius sort. In addition, these demons have the ability to do any one of the following one at a time at will. That's not per combat, that's at will. So let's see. Oh, where were we? Detect invisible objects. Telekinesis 2,000 gold piece weight. Gate in another type 1 demon with a 10% chance of success. The type 2. These foul creatures are a foot shorter than the tall type 1 sort, looking somewhat like a gross toad with human arms in place of forelegs. Magic resistance is 55% and intelligence is only fair. These demons can be struck by normal weapons or missiles. The darkness they cause is at will of the variety, which covers a 15-foot radius. These sorts of additional abilities performed by these demons one at a time at will cause fear as a fear wand, levitate as an 8th level magic user, detect invisible objects, telekinesis 3,000 gold piece weight, gate in another type 2 with a 20% chance of success. Are you scared yet? I am. It's not a great drawing. The type 3 is all right. I just don't know why Dave put miniature bases on them. That's just weird. We have the type 3, 9 feet tall. A head much like a goat-horned dog, pinchers instead of normal hands, and a small pair of human arms protruding from its chest. It's got little Quato baby arms sticking out there. Let's see. Magic resistance is 60%. Fear is a 1. Levitate, cause pyrotechnics, polymorph itself, telekinesis 4,000 gold piece weight, that's 400 pounds. Gate in another of types 1 through 4. Roll for which type, 30% chance of success. Demons are bad juju. I love this. This guy, he's just like peeking up over the edge of the page. Am I bad juju? Yes, you are. The worst features of an ape and a boar and their small wings appear unable to bear their ponderous 10-foot bodies. Unlike lower sorts of demons, type 4 can only be hit by weapons and missiles of the magical sort. Resistance to magic, however, is 65%, and intelligence is high. Much as a type 3, they cause darkness. They have these other abilities: create an illusion, as from a wand, cause fear, as per wand, levitate as a 12th level magic user, detect magic, read languages, dispel magic, polymorph themselves, telekinesis, 5,000 gold piece weight, project an image, use a symbol of fear or discord, and gate in types 1 to 6 with a 60% chance of success. These guys are dangerous, but not the most dangerous. The succubus. And bubes on the page. Take it all in, boys, before I get knocked off the internet. Female demons not usually found in numbers. We know what a succubus does, right? I mean, every one of us had a monster manual growing up. We looked at the succubus entry. We know what she does. Much better drawing in the monster manual, though. Very much like a tall and beautiful human, bat-like wings immediately give the observer its true characteristics. 70% magic resistance, medial for demon kind, cannot be harmed by any normal sort of weaponry, cause darkness in a 5-foot radius, and if they kiss you, of course, you lose a level. And then they have a boatload of demoness abilities. Type 5. Another of the female demons with a multi-armed female torso atop the body of a great snake. They are taller than a man and far more terrible. Their 6 arms are all able to use weapons. These demons are 80% magic resistance, cannot be hit by non-magic weaponry, and their intelligence is high. When desiring to do so, they cause darkness in a 5-foot radius. Other extraordinary abilities, any one of which can be performed as desired, are Charm Person, Levitate, Read Languages, Detect Invisible Objects, Pyrotechnics, Polymorph Self, Project Image, and then just gate in any number of their types. Oh, and at this point, they can start calling the demon princes. They can try anyway. 5% chance. All right, type 6. There's the Malarith, which is the same, a smaller one. I don't know if it's exactly the same drawing. I think the one in the monster manual is that basically that same drawing but cleaned up. So we'll just scroll past that. They're 12 feet tall, highly intelligent. Basically, a type 6 is a Balrog, guys. We know that. So we'll scroll past Malarth here. I think, hang on a second. 32, 33, and then what's this next page down? 34. So we don't really launch too much into what the Balrog can do. But they do talk about Orcus, and this is essentially the 1E Monster Manual listing, like the first appearance of it. He holds the Wand of Death, Orcus's wand, which is a rod of obsidian topped by a skull. Causes death or annihilation to any creature, save those of like status, other princes, high devils, saints, godlings, etc., merely by touching their flesh. Other powers of this device are mentioned hereafter in the section dealing with artifacts. And we do have some artifacts to talk about also. It's not all demon boobies, guys, I promise. And there's Demogorgon. Again, why so much attention paid to Demogorgon? It's a silly name, and it's a silly looking creature. This will never have cultural significance. It is contended by some that this demon lord is supreme, and in any event, he is awesome in his power. This gigantic demon is 18 feet tall and reptilian. His skin is plated with snake scales, snake-like scales. His body and legs are those of a giant lizard. His twin necks resemble snakes, and his thick tail is forked. Demogorgon has 2 heads which bear the visages of evil baboons or perhaps mandrills. Rather than having arms, he has great tentacles. His appearance testifies to his command of cold-blooded things such as serpents, reptiles, and octopi. Demogorgon is highly intelligent. He is susceptible only to magic weapons of +2 or greater enchantment. He has 95% magic resistance. Whenever desiring to do so, Demogorgon can use any of the following as a wand of that ilk: Levitate, Detect Magic, Read Languages, Detect Invisible Objects, ESP, Dispel Magic, Clairvoy, use Clairaudience, Suggest, Water Breathe, Polymorph Self, Wall of Ice, Charm Monster, Telekinesis, 7,000 gold piece weight with each of his 2 heads, or with but one, cast Feeble Mind once per day, project an image, use Power Word Stun once per day, use any symbol once per day, polymorph any object, shape change, time stop, turn sticks to snakes, and gate in other demons, exactly as does Orcus, except that Demogorgon has 85% chance of successfully attempting this feat. You worried yet? You should be. All right. He also possesses great powers in his 2 heads. Should he fix the gaze of both upon his enemies, he's able to hypnotize. Sticks to snacks. Yum, yum, yum. This hypnosis will affect from 10 to 100 creatures of 1 to 3 hit dice, 5 to 40 with 4 to 6, 3 to 24 with 7 to 9, 2 to 12 with 10 to 12, and 1 to 4 with 13 or more hit dice. So even if you bring your party of like 20th level characters and there's just 4 of you into Demogorgon's lair, he can hypnotize you and stop you from attacking, just staring at you all. Let's see. Those over 15 hit dice save versus magic. All others are automatically hypnotized. This hypnosis is of the mass sort that the victims are only under its influence for 1 turn, but during this time will follow most instructions. Absolutely, self-destruction would not be heeded. Well, that's good. That's good. It's nice to know that Demogorgon can't simply order you to kill yourself. His left head has a gaze, which is the effect of a rod of beguiling, and the right causes insanity for 1 to 6 turns. When used independently, the potential victim saves versus magic to determine whether or not they avoid the eyes. He's able to lash his forked tail, striking it as a whip-like weapon. Its touch causes energy drain from 1 to 4 levels. You won't be a 20th level adventurer for too long against this thing. The usefulness of sticks to snakes. I mean, you're in the middle of a melee, you throw them down, and they're biting and crawling over your opponents. I think it's pretty useful. His tentacles also strike as flails, and their touch rots that part of the body it contacts. A limb becomes useless in 6 melee rounds and drops off in another 6. The body sustains damage that permanently removes 25% of the hit points in 6, cumulative per hit. A cure disease made within the 6 melee round limit will save the member so that it will heal in 1 to 4 weeks, and body hits will be restored entirely if the cure is made within the 6 melee rounds after the hit. And then we launch into demon amulets. They keep their vital essences in small containers. That's demon princes, by the way. This is not your average demon. It's kind of like a phylactery. It need not be with the most powerful princes, although the lesser demon lords typically need to carry theirs on or near their persons. Possession of an amulet gives the possessor power over the demon to whom it belongs for the space of, for example, 1 adventure, and never more than a day. The amulet must then be returned to the demon, or it can be destroyed and thus condemn the prince to abysmal for a year, and he may return thereafter only if summoned. Use of an amulet is very, very dangerous. And if you possess one, it will basically make you a target for other demons. I never understood Demogorgon's tentacles for arms instead of hands. It's just bad. It's just terrible. Tentacles are really cool, creepy. Yeah, I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going, right? On the positive side, however, if the wielder of the amulet carefully repays the demon, it adds a considerable sum for having its temerity to dare to command the demon in the first place, and then carefully restores the amulet to the demon, the prince might not bear him a grudge forever afterward and seek to hunt him out whenever possible. And then we have their psionic strength. Type 1s don't have any 2s and 3s, 100. I think that's supposed to be a 4. I think that's a typo. So 2s and 3s, 100. A 4, 150. Succubi, 200. Now it goes down a little bit. 5s and 6s have 130 and 180. Orcus has 350. So he has more mind power. And then we have their attack and defense modes. Coatl is just that, winged feathered serpent, only found in jungle-like regions. Due to their exceptional intelligence and powers, they are regarded with awe by the inhabitants of their homelands, and they are regarded as divine. Coatl rarely interfere in human affairs. Magic resistance of these creatures is standard. They are able to polymorph themselves, and they use magic as a 5th level magic user and or 7th level cleric. They are psionically aware and have from 9 to 16 clerical abilities with commensurate attack and defense modes. Psychic potential is 60 to 110. Coatl speaks several human languages and most serpent and avian languages as well. They are lawful by alignment with neutral behavior tendencies. So the lawful good part of Coatl in the monster manual was a bit of a sea change. The Chiron. The hooves of the Chiron rarely touch the surface of the earth, for this aerial creature prefers to dwell amongst the clouds, and it is there that he makes his solitary lair. At times, they travel astrally or ethereally. They are of the highest intelligence and completely lawful and good. They somewhat resemble a cloudy horse. Although they are aloof from human affairs, they will sometime intervene if properly abjured. They are resistant to all magic under the 12th level and 90% resistant to magic above that level. Chiron are able to use magic as an 18th level magic user and all psionic abilities of the magic user kind. They have powers equal to a double strength djinn. And all magic involving air things of the sky is twice of normal strength. Their psychic potential ranges from 110 to 180. So 100 plus 1d8 times 10. The Chiron are able to converse with almost any other creature. Shadoo. Shadoo, Shadoo. Yada da 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 da. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. It's my usual bar order. Right on. Intellect Devourers, these chaotic evil monsters. Oh no, I skipped Shadoo. They appear similar to Lamassu, human-headed winged creatures with bull-like bodies. Ugh. I mean, I know they're lawful good and they're, might even be very nice, but a bull-like body, just a human face sitting on the end of the neck stump. God, it's like that scene in Invasion of the Body Snatchers when the guy and the dog fall asleep next to one pod. All right. Psychic potential from 55 to 90. They speak all human tongues, but prefer to communicate telepathically. They can travel ethereally or astrally. They are cousins of the Lamassu, so they watch and protect over those of mankind who serve law. Although they are not magical, they are highly psionic and able to perform 11 to 18 of the psionic abilities of clerical nature. See, they used to have psionics broken into per class. Psionics in Eldritch Wizardry is really better than psionics in AD&D, guys. It is. Intellect Devourers. Chaotic evil, fairly intelligent, highly malign with regard to sentient life. These guys are pure science fiction, in my opinion. Awareness extends the astral and ethereal planes. The appearance of an intellect devourer is frightening in itself, for they have no apparent head, merely a ball-like body of sooty black poised on 4 legs. They are able to hide in shadows as well as a 10th level thief, and their preferred abode is deep beneath the ground or in a dark and dismal place outdoors. Although they are able to attack with their claws, their great claws, their primary offensive means is psionic, for they subsist on the psychic energy of their prey, whether gained from the dying shriek or a more subtle means. If psionic energy, from abilities or magical means, is in use nearby within 6 inches, they will stalk the user, seeking a time to attack him alone and by surprise. The monster leaps upon its victim, tearing with his claws and psionically attacking with ego flail or id insinuation. I think it's supposed to be ego whip. Greetings, Cooley. Good to see you. If psionically successful, the devourer will then house itself within the mindless body, seeking to deceive others by assuming the character of the person it has slain. The intellect devourer will then seek opportunities to attack and devour others. Normal weapons and most spells have no effect. Magical weapons +3 or more cause a point of damage when they hit. Bright light will drive them off, and protection from evil will keep them at a distance. Fireballs serve only as a bright light, but lightning bolts will cause them pain and some small damage. 1 point of die, 1 point per die of lightning bolt strength. Hello, Mobius. Man, Gary and Brian were not screwing around with this book. A death spell has a 25% chance of success, and a power word kill will slay them. Of course, they can be psionically attacked, and their strength of 200 total points makes this not too difficult. However, if seriously threatened, they will seek to flee and save themselves. Intellect Devourers roam the astral and ethereal planes. They are able to speak any human language. They're just as dangerous back then as they are today. Mind Flayers. We know what Mind Flayers are. Sue Monsters. Me Monster as Sue Monster. Ha ha ha. Thank you, Rich. He made that joke last night. These evil and chaotic things are found both undergrounds and outdoors. They're a wasp-waisted, great-chested hound. Their heads appear much like gorillas. All 4 feet are prehensile and armed with extremely long, sharp nails, with long and extremely sharp nails as well. They're at home upright or hanging upside down, the latter being one of their favorite methods of lurking for prey. If more than 4 are encountered, it is likely that the group will be male, female, and young. And then there's some die rolls. Brain moles, cerebral parasites, thought eaters, the sickly gray skeletal bodies, enormous headed platypus. Vinny says, Mind Flayers are a favorite of mine. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Thought eaters. The treasures. This section is devoted to a number of artifacts and relics of tremendous power. It is set up so that only the dungeon master, again, all one word, will know what these items can actually do. The players will only have rumors to go on. Each item is described and a list of suggested powers is given, but in the back of this section is a series of tables which the referee can use to change the powers that are suggested under each artifact. The dungeon master should feel free to add new items to the table or to change them, but he should be careful to make sure that new or changed items are placed on the appropriate table. Good Lord. They're one of a kind. It's very difficult to destroy them. After all, most of them have been around for thousands of years, and anyone who attempts to take apart an artifact usually dies as a result. The owners of artifacts eventually become greedy, possessive, and secretive, first solely in respect to the treasured item, and then with regard to all possessions. Hello, the One Ring. The invulnerable coat of Arnd. And then there's a table of possible powers. I like how these got big headlines and they're easy to see. I mean, I understand in the Dungeon Master's Guide you didn't want to go too crazy, but I like the big chunky headlines. So the Mace of Cuthbert, which I think this is the first mention in publication ever of St. Cuthbert. A very holy relic from the times of St. Cuthbert, only usable only by good clerics. Its power is largely unknown, +5 to hit and damage, and it is hard to use. It has 2 powers from table 1, 2 from table 2, and 1 from table 4. Thank God for headlines, yeah. The Sword of Kos. Another item connected with the legend of the Lich Vecna is the Sword of Kos, his one-time bodyguard. It's a thin gray blade of some metallic substance. Its powers are only dimly hinted at by legend, but Kos was said to be the mightiest swordsman of his age. Intelligence 18, Ego 18. It is evil, and if possible, will control any fighter who picks it up and turn him evil. Additionally, it has one power from table 1, 2 from table 2, and 1 from table 4, and 1 from table 5. The sword will, of course, attempt to dominate its owner. Axe of the Dwarvish Lords. Forged from the heart of a volcano by a dwarvish king long forgotten, it passed from father to son until it disappeared in battle over 1,000 years ago. Since then, it has been rumored to have appeared in various places around the world. The axe has all of the fighting qualities of a sword of sharpness. Good Lord. And then, of course, the Wand of Orcus, the Rod of 7 Parts, which was kind of the basis of the D&D movie that Gary was working on. It's true. So lots of powers. Codex of the Infinite Planes. I love that. I'm going to read this. I am going to read this because this is very cool. This is just like, This is one of the things, it made it into AD&D, but it makes classic D&D great. Long ago, the wizard clerics who ruled the Isle of Woe and lost in the Lake of Unknown Depths used this work to gain knowledge of great power. It is told that this arcane wisdom is what eventually wrought the downfall of the mage priests and caused the waters to swallow his domain. In any event, the Codex of Infinite Plane somehow survived the cataclysm, for the wizard Zunk, before his disappearance, recorded the following. And this part is awesome. I'm going to try it. Do I have a little water in here? No. And thereupon the voice belled forth in tones of hollow iron and spoke of the coming of the city of the gods. Such future events interest me not. No, I gave the command. Answer in the... Here the fragment becomes entirely illegible. So knowing both the secret and the spell which would unlock the way to this horde of the demon prince... Another break in the writing, unfortunately, occurs here. Gathered the 9 as required and proceeded forth. With me, in addition, were the dial servants necessary to transport the code, for I would not leave it behind on even so perilous a journey as this. Here the entire fragment ends. I love that. I just get goosebumps. It's so flavorful. It just, gosh, doesn't that just make you want to pick up your dice and play D&D and get to a high enough level to futz around with stuff like this. And by the way, the wizard Zunk is a character run by Rob Coons. And I guess the Codex was in Castle Greyhawk or somewhere in Greyhawk environments. From this and vague rumors, it would seem that the Codex is of unusually large size for even so magical a tome as it is, and that it is difficult to transport. To open the book is to court instant death and total annihilation, for it is 99% certain to destroy those who dare to seek instant mastery of its contents. If any person under the 10th level dare to even touch its cover, it will slay them just as surely. Well, don't touch it. Well, I wasn't going to touch it. I'm just pointing. Well, don't point. Don't point. The Codex has 3 powers from table 1, 1 from table 2, and 1 from table... Hi! That is a delightful typo. It's probably table 3. 1 from table 4 and 2 from table 5. That's great. Table high. Look. Lean in on the screen and check that out. This is table high. And glorious 1080p. So what level is it appropriate to go to the planes, and does OD&D allow that level? Well, I mean, it talks about planar walking and astral travel and that sort of thing. So yes-ish, sort of, maybe. The Hand of Vecna. Now, do we really need to explain what the Hand of Vecna is? The Eye of Vecna. The effects on the eye of the user may not be altered in any manner, even by wishes. Once again, nothing may alter the effect of the hand on the user. None of the effects of the hand may be altered in any way. Even wishes or acts of the gods are useless. Guys, that's how badass Vecna was. You use his hand or his eye or both, and you have regrets about it? Too bad. Nothing's going to undo it. Baba Yaga's Hut, which got its own module, its own AD&D module in Dragon Magazine. Somewhere there reportedly exists this relic of the greatest wizardess of all time, Baba Yaga. Her hut is a smallish appearing hovel about 10 to 15 feet in diameter, and it stands on but 2 strange stilts. The interior of this hut, however, is 10 times the outer diameter. It is filled with rich furnishings and minor magical items, and its walls are equal to stone 5 feet thick. Furthermore, the stilts it stands upon are actually gigantic bird-like legs, which can carry the hut over any sort of terrain. 36 feet per turn in wet places, 24 per turn on normal terrain, 12 per turn through forests, over rocky ground, up and down mountainous land. The legs of the hut are able to deliver mighty blows to any intruder rash enough to come near without invitation. Each melee round, the hut's legs are also able to strike once with a 30% hit probability, doing from 3 to 24 points of damage. It has but one power. So yeah, it's Baba Yaga's hut. The hand in the eye would consume and eventually take over. Yeah, that's the point. Iron Flask of Turney the Merciless. Queen Alyssa's Marvelous Nightingale. That is a lovely piece of art there. I believe that is Dave Sutherland's artwork also. Someone has summoned Orcus and is probably immediately regretting it. The Machine of Lum the Mad. Mighty Servant of Luick O. Yeah, you know, if you've seen AD&D, we've got all of this. The Crystal of the Ebon Flame. Now, is the Crystal of the Ebon Flame in AD&D? I don't know. It probably is. I would be shocked if it wasn't. Once again, the scan has gone awry. That is Heward's mystical organ, not Reward's mystical organ. Horn of Change, Ring of Gax. I wonder if that relates to Gary Gygax. I'll have to ask my Dungeon Master if he knows. Then we have the crowns, scepters, and orbs, the throne of the gods, the orbs of dragonkind. And then here's all the powers, the possible powers that they can come up with. The underworld and wilderness adventures. So we have different encounters we can have there. And all the wonderful stuff like that. What is a lean? Page 54. Okay, I got that. Psionic encounters. We're on page 54. Lich. Number 2 is supposed to be a lich, not a lean. A psionic encounter of, I'm sorry, until you pay us, we're locking this house. A lean. A random psionic encounter of a lean. That's funny. You can't say that's not funny. That is funny. Correction to wilderness wandering monsters. So lots of tables. Lots more monsters to encounter. And then a notes section. So what an amazing book that is. I mean, we have these psychic powers. We have, you know, we've got all of this far out stuff, mind powers, demons, artifacts that can do all this wondrous and horrible stuff, new monsters, new rules. I'm kind of on the fence whether or not I want my dungeon master to see Eldritch Wizardry, guys. What do you think? If you were playing OD&D back in the day, would you want Eldritch Wizardry not only as part of your arsenal as a dungeon master, but as part of your what's the word I'm looking for? Your resources as a player? You guys think about that. You guys contemplate that. As we are coming up in a few minutes, we are going to be shifting gears here. And I hope you guys enjoyed looking at Supplement 3 Eldritch Wizardry. We're not done, by the way. I saw another book over in that hobby shop. And this one was called Supplement 4. Supplement 4. There'll be a lot of interesting stuff in Supplement 4. I betcha. So I can't wait to get that one on my next paycheck, tear the plastic shrink wrap, the shrink wrap plastic off of it. The guy that runs the place insists on putting them in. Ricky says, I'd be fine. But then again, I grew up with 3.5 and they allowed everything. Well, we'll keep working with you, Ricky. So before we jump into that, I do, well, we're not going to jump into it tonight, but before we jump into tonight's game, I do want to give a notification. I'm putting you all on notice. Thursday night, Paul Stormberg will be here. And you know what we're going to do? Me and Paul, and you guys, you can come too. We are going to have a final time because we're going into an in-depth let's play and overview of chainmail. That's right. You thought, oh, okay, they're moving forward. We're jumping right back to formula. Thursday night, Paul Stormberg will be in attendance, and we're going to take a look at chainmail. How playable is chainmail as a man-to-man adventure game, not just a combat game? We'll talk to Paul about that. We'll have a joust. Surely you joust. Yes, we will. So Paul will be here, and we're gonna play out on live stream a joust in chainmail. And Paul's going to be our Guardo Camino, our road guide for or our road guard for that, because he knows, man. Paul knows. He's got it up here when it comes to the supremo knowledge of chainmail. We're going to put it to the test. We're going to have a joust, and we're going to talk about chainmail, and we're going to see, just my theory and hypothesis aside, Thursday, we're going to see if chainmail works as a role-playing game all by itself. I think the answer may surprise you. I'm looking forward to it. But later tonight on the show, in just a few minutes, in fact, we've got our panel of guests. We're going to have folks in. We're going to be playing first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And we will go forward and we will see what the adventurers are going to do. Now, if you recall, last week they burned down the zombie house. It died with an awful sound. Sorry, Deep Purple fans. I'm not sorry. They burned down the zombie house. And well, we'll let the players kind of come in with exactly what's going on and what we're going to be doing. Before we kick the game off, though, I just want to pop in here and I want to mention some absolutely wonderful people. Digital Discord, Joshua Garlic, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru 1, 8 Mobius 8, Kevin Reynolds, Joseph Lucas, Doomsword Deathmaster, Mark Simpson, Damian X247, and James F. Keck for supporting us on Patreon. I thank you all. That is awesome of you. And let me just tell you, like I said last night, look, whether you participate on Patreon, whether you just come and watch the streams, whether you are silent, you just sit out there and you watch them, like, oh, no, maybe you're just painfully shy or whatever. I appreciate what you do. I will never sit in this chair and look down on you guys and act like I'm anything other than a fellow gaming nerd. And I will never tell you, well, you got to, yeah, I have Patreon and I have Patreon levels. Of course I do. But I will never hold anything back from you guys on these streams. I will never be like, okay, this stream's run 45 minutes. The rest is just for people who paid for it. I appreciate all of you, each and every one, because we're gamer nerds and we have a lot of fun. I got you down there on the there it is, right there, right under my fingertip. Camera's in the way. It's right there. There we go. Yeah, right there. Right there. I got those names down there. It's because I think it's a nice thing to do for people who are nice to me. So thank you, everyone, for always being here. And I appreciate it regardless of what you do. So we're gonna bring the rest of the crowd in here in just a minute. And add them in, and then we're gonna get started playing some AD&D. So welcome then, if you will, please. We have Kyle, James, and Mark, and I'm gonna add you guys. Y'all be ready to roll here. And there's my gaming group. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you all?
Hello.
Hello.
You. Just a moment.
Hello.
You got a haircut.
I have several cuts.
I got so addicted to the sound of my own voice, I forgot that I actually had to hear y'all's too.
I'm much more aerodynamic now.
I see that. I see that. No, little wind resistance.
I cut mine maybe once a year.
Kyle's got the stabilizer. You know, he's got like that rooster tail stabilizer to prevent bobbing in high speed maneuvers. All right, so folks, these are of course the the adventurous players who are bravely going to storm the catacombs and chambers of Castle Greyhawk. Adventurers, are you ready?
Right.
Yeah, we're going shopping.
Shopping.
That's right. Adventurers, are you shopping?
Yes.
Yes.
So the party had returned to Castle Greyhawk and is now going to have a shopping montage. And dungeon masters out there who are watching, or if you're new to AD&D, this can be an adventurous experience unto itself. I mean, obviously saying, I want to go to the granary and get some horse feed. Yeah, you don't give me much as a dungeon master to work with there. Unless I'm rolling random encounters on the city street, which, come to think on it.
Yeah, I guess did say to do that.
Anyway, so let's just go ahead and dive right in. You folks have safely returned to Castle Greyhawk, or to the city of Greyhawk, rather, much to my dismay. You all made it back in one piece. So we'll just go round. That's the wrong direction. We'll go round the room and start with Kyle. What are you doing in the city of Greyhawk?
Well, once we have the money, as in the selling of gems, etc., there's only two things I really want other than buying stuff from Men at Arms, which is a set of plate. I need to immediately go looking out for a set of plate and a great sword. So those are the two things I'm on the look for. I'm on the hunt for, and I can pay for half the plate now. My character has enough money on them, but the rest has to come from the gem sales and stuff.
Yes, you guys do have some gems. Did you keep track of what kind of gems you have?
Oh yes.
I put it in our Discord channel.
Okay. So.
How much is 10 pounds of gold worth, and like 100 actually like 100? What was it? I chopped off a pound for the imp. The remainder of that silver, because I think it was like
fine smith.
Yeah. So we also should sell those off as well.
So we have to go to a fine smith to sell lumps of metal to some sort of jeweler gem person to sell off gems, and then shopping.
So as far as that goes, as far as selling off the base metal, essentially a metal worker, he will pay you about once he tests it, and he'll test it in front of you and determines the purity. Because it's got dirt stuck in it. It's aggregate now. It is what. And this, I understand this to be true. It is what is referred to, just the whole lump is referred to as melt. Is worth 10 pounds. So, let me see. So, call it maybe 60 or 70 gold pieces, give or take.
Okay.
So split 3 ways? Let's be generous and say 33 gold each.
4 ways. James has 2 characters. Full ones.
Oh yes, that's right. Damn it! That there goes the easy math. So I'm going to shut up before I say something stupid. I can't math.
Math is hard.
It is. It'd be like 17 gold each or something like that.
Yes. Yes, he will happily pay you 17 gold each.
Okay.
For that.
Good.
He takes the lump is off your hands. So you've got the you've got some spending coin, and Kyle, you were looking for plate mail, you said?
Yeah, are we getting full market value for those gems though? Because that'll matter as far as how much money I have to spend.
Oh, okay. So let me see. I'm gonna have to peek over in the Discord and look.
I can read them off if you want.
Would you?
Yes. From the top, a 2,000 gold piece gem.
All right.
2 1,000 gold piece gems.
Okay.
A 200 gold piece gem, a 50, and a 10.
Okay. So who is selling these gems on Lapidary Street? Let's get opening time down on Lapidary Street.
I have reasonable charisma.
Alrighty.
I'll brush myself off as well as possible. Look as presentable as possible.
Take a bath. You stink.
Alrighty. So the Hall of the White Diamond is open there, and there are a couple of doty-looking mercenary types with loaded and cocked arbalests eyeing you suspiciously as you approach the windows.
I have some gems that I wish to have appraised and perhaps sold.
All right.
A little back.
He doesn't take his hand off the stock of his bolt thrower there and just kind of.
Can I go in?
All right. It's a very plain looking shop. There's purple and silver tapestries hanging on the walls, a few flowering plants here and again. There might be a magical source of light, or it might be some kind of window set in the ceiling. You're not sure. There are tables covered in felt. You're not sure if they're gnomes or halflings running kind of around in the back, far back of the shop. There are no goods out in front, and a very obvious gnome comes out and drags a platform up, so he's standing at least shorter elf height, examining you, and hands in vest pocket. Good afternoon, gentlemen. What can I do for you?
I look down at him because I'm at least 6'6".
Okay.
And well met, Sir Gnome. I have some gems that I wish to have appraised and sold. Found this treasure.
So you do, tall one, you do. Well, let us espy these gems.
I lay them out on a table next to me, but I do not leave their sight.
That's fine. He reaches into a vest pocket, takes out a wand, kind of wraps it on the palm of his hand. Doesn't completely close his eyes, but concentrates for a moment. Indeed, these stones are moderately valuable. And what were you seeking to do with them, my lord?
I want to sell them.
Ah, yes, a gem requisite. Very well.
Moderately valuable? And he points at the star ruby, the biggest one. That seems a bit more than moderate.
Well, it is a nice stone. I mean, after all, this is the city of Greyhawk. I could tell you of... Well, I'm really not at liberty to say. The discretion of our clients is paramount, you understand.
Of course, of course.
All right. So he asks you, let us get down to brass tacks. I know what the value is for these. What do you ask?
Cash. Coin.
I would think nothing less but the amount.
What do you think they're worth, good Sir Gnome?
Ah, but I asked you first, good sir.
5,000 gold at least.
No, it is too dear a price for these. I mean, look here. There's cloudiness in this quadrant, and just here, whatever poor lapidary
4,000.
shaped this.
And you're hurting me.
I suppose I could find a piece of moderate costume jewelry to fix some of these too, but you must understand, you are taking food away from my family, sir.
Ah, but you said they were useful. You could use them.
Well, as I said, for decoration, for costume jewelry, perhaps.
Counter offer me.
3,000 is an acceptable amount, I think.
3,500.
$3,250.
Well, I will start shuffling these over and trying to gauge his reaction as I start to take them away. Is he like, no, wait? As I start taking them away, I'm going to leave.
All right.
Sniff.
Well, he just... I wish you the best of luck in the open market with your gemstones, sir.
I turn, but then turn back. You are hard. My men died for these.
A sad tale indeed.
Fine. 3250.
Already, he sweeps he just like rakes the gem backwards. You hear a click, and then they're gone off the table. He blows a little whistle, and a dwarf comes out. He leans over, says something to him, sotto voce, just smiling. And the dwarf comes back with a small iron box. And he looks at you. The gnome opens the box and is just looking at you. Click.
Is it copper pieces?
Click. Click. No, it is not copper pieces.
We're trying to punch you in the nose.
50 hours later. Yeah. He basically gives you the bulk of it. The 3,000 comes in platinum. So that is 500 platinum pieces. 600 platinum pieces. And the rest is in gold.
250 gold. Okay.
So you've got 50, 80 to... Yeah, you've got something north of 85 pounds of coins now. How are you getting them back?
Large sacks. I'm big. I'm swole.
What is your strength?
My strength is 1860.
Oh, yeah, okay. No problem.
Worst comes to worst, I can help. It's really.
I'll pick them up and you.
Yeah.
Bro, do you even lift? Yes, I do. All right, so...
Doth thou hoist?
All right, so you have 2 enormous sacks of coins. Where are you going with these coins?
Straight to the tavern. No.
Bartender.
Around for the whole city.
Indeed.
Erupted today in the Inn District.
First, we need to split it. I did a little calculation. It's 812 and a half gold each.
But realistically, where are you guys meeting?
I figured I would have followed him out there. So we may as well stay as like. There's no point separating in a city where one of us alone can get mugged.
Yeah.
And if you guys stayed out, like in the vestibule, in the lobby, while I went and talked to the guy, I came out and we could just divvy it there. If they give me dirty looks, the guards give me dirty looks, I'm like, hold on.
Yeah, that'll work.
We'll divvy it
Well,
up.
there's no vestibule. There's outside, and then there's the
okay.
room I just described.
Okay.
I wait outside. I don't care.
Yeah.
All right.
Divvying
Okay.
it up in the streets is going to be kind of dangerous too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We
You
will
want
go-
to travel to
let's go
a
to the coffee
you want
shop.
to travel to an armorer and divvy it up there. The armorer won't care.
Let's go to the
Yeah.
coffee shop.
Oh yeah, that's a great place to get mugged.
Let's, yeah,
Well,
because
look,
I have armor to
Causing
get to.
physical distress.
James, your
Yes.
characters, either of your characters need armor?
No. One's a magic user and the other one's got chainmail. He's good to go with the armor.
Okay. So I
However-
need sorry.
However, Valoric does think that perhaps we should purchase some healing potions. So,
But I like the idea of let's go to the armor.
okay,
Let's get some armor and
Go
divvy
there.
up the monies there. Armor next. You guys can surround me as a phalanx as I walk around the city with jingling.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, how much coin did you guys get?
Not a
We
lot.
got
Not a lot.
no, not a lot. It
No.
totaled up to be about 40 extra gold.
yeah,
Yeah.
All right. So total or each of you?
Total.
That was a total. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
It was literally yeah.
so about 10 more gold for each of
Okay.
us.
So I am going to award XP now because you have disposed of the last of your treasure.
Mm-hmm.
So let us take a gander. First, we have to take a look at those zombies that you guys took down, and it was a takedown of the zombies.
I might be able. Actually, I will level
Oh
probably.
my god.
And oh, by the way, don't even ask me if you you get XP for the Iron Golem. She
We
gets ex-
survived the encounter.
That was
she
very
gets experience
bad.
points.
No, that character got the experience.
Yeah,
Oh, it was an experience.
exactly. It was a learning experience.
They learned.
Mhm.
Yeah, you learned not to not to smack an iron golem with a door.
Poke and run. Poke and run. It works just fine.
All right, so let's see. So the zombies. I know how many were in the house. So let's see. Assuming average hit points. All right.
Wonder how many experience points we'll get for the kobolds.
Forgot about those.
See, that was
those.
I believe it was 9 kobolds.
Yes.
9 kobolds. What was it? A half dozen giant rats or something like that. 8 of them.
Yeah.
9 of them.
Is anyone here are any living characters were they present when the Lucrata was fought? I don't think so.
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
I don't have to worry about that, or the troll. So
That would have been
No.
No, the troll
Yeah.
was already awarded to me.
the troll was
The troll
already
was already
okay.
awarded to me.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's see. So let's check out. And guys, if you're following along and you're trying to learn AD&D from watching this, you have my condolences. But if you're following along, there's a very handy table. It starts around page 200 in the Dungeon Master's Guide that lists monsters and their XP values. It is extremely handy, and without it, you would go bonkers trying to calculate everything. So let's take a look then. 9 kobolds. I know how many the zombies were worth. And despite my best attempts, you encountered no one and nothing.
Spiders.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the spiders. That's right.
There
Three
was 3 of them.
giant spiders. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And there will be some subdivisions because of your men at arms fighting with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's see. All right.
I just gotta get 2,000.
I'm gonna
Kobolds.
get one XP after
Kobolds.
Yeah.
Kobolds are worth less than zombies.
Oh yeah,
Well, that makes sense.
they're worth less than goblins if I had to give a guess too.
That's a fine question. And just for
Kobolds
those
are
who
only
are
half
curious, we
half
can look that up.
Yeah, because like
Let's
kobolds
see.
are literally half as tough as goblins, I think, like statistically.
Yes, it is 10 plus 1 per hit point for goblins and 5 plus 1 per hit point for kobolds. All right, and last but not least, spiders.
Though I think I would still rather shoot myself than walk into a kobold warren.
Yeah, in numbers, yeah.
Even at 10th level, it'd be hard.
Now, I'm not one of those guys who goes full Vietnam, Tucker's kobolds. Their lair is only 3 feet high and, and that
You
sort
do
of
that?
thing. But it's still...
My players have learned how I've thrown 10th level players against goblin warrens. I just did that recently, and my players learned the hard way that it doesn't matter what level you are. They will take a price in blood.
There you go.
They still killed their chieftain, but they then had to like Benny Hill run their way out as the hobgoblins and ogre reinforcements arrived, and their local hill giant decided to come and say hi.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I am just about ready here to go. So let's see. Plus 23. And then we add that and divide it by the hypotenuse.
Get my calculator out to make sure I could do simple addition.
Divided by
4.
Let's see, 5 minute arms.
Oh yeah.
6
minute arms and you
Mhm.
guys. So let's see. So that is a total divided by 10. The total XP for each of you, not counting 10% earned, if your prime requisite allows it, is 418.
Well, I leveled up.
And then the gold on top of that.
Yeah, that is with the treasure.
Oh.
That is including the treasure. That is not strictly monsters. That is including treasure. 418.4 experience points.
Okay.
And if someone
Followers get a full share?
I'm sorry, what?
Followers get a full share, not a half share?
No. Regardless of the share that they get, it is still divided. The number of participants who help take down the thing divides the amount of XP.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what,
Okay.
regardless of what share they get. If I gave them one each, it would still divide. It would still divide across because they were a force multiplier. They kind of work as part of your lesson, if you will. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So 418 experience points. We drop the fraction. So 418 experience points each, not counting any 10% bonus you might get for a high strength or a high con.
High strength for magic items doesn't count, does it?
High strength for magic? No.
I didn't think so.
Sorry.
460 each.
Do I have to pay? I don't have to pay to level up, right? I can.
Oh,
take
you
my level-
absolutely have to pay to level up. You have to train.
Mm-hmm.
Per the let me see here.
Yeah, because there's no way we have the 1,000 gold or whatever it is to leveling up.
So leveling up, for those of you who are, again, playing along at home and are curious about what we're discussing here, in the Dungeon Master's Guide, gaining experience levels, now Kyle has played excellently, of course. I have no problem with that. So you'd be looking at, let's see. So give you an excellent, no deviations there. So the level of the trainee times 1,500 equals weekly cost. So yeah, it would just be a base of 1,500 for you.
Yeah, there's no way in hell I'm affording that.
Do you actually leveled up?
Yeah, I would, but I
Okay,
can't afford it.
cool.
I'm nowhere near it.
You get the XP for it. Okay, well, let's do some shopping, and we may not be there, but we can start a fund because each one of us is going to end up having to level up at something.
Yeah, because I'd rather have better armor, and like I can hold off on getting a sword than if I want to save myself 30 gold.
Yeah.
But yeah, damn.
All right, so you have your money, you have your experience points. You are purchasing plate mail, correct? That is easy to do. We will just. Are you buying a helm with it, or are you going helmless?
I presume it would come with a helm. If I'm paying 400 gold for a suit of armor, it's coming with a helm.
Your helm is separate. It's not that much more. I mean, even a small helm is. Let me see.
The intermedieval historian
that's how they get you.
Reach out and slap you, Bill. I really.
That's
do.
how they get you. Every little additional charge.
Reach into the astral plane and slap Gary because it's not included. A small helm is 10 gold pieces. A great helm is 15.
Find me a suit of plate that doesn't come with a helm. Find me a suit of plate that doesn't come with a helm. I challenge you, sir. I will read. Yeah, no, that's one of those. No, I'll get off my high horse, but
you don't have one. You have a donkey.
That's fair. I'm too. Sir Average is too poor for a donkey. You're too poor for a horse.
Let's see. Google Shopping plate mail without helmet does not really return anything.
Yeah, no shit. Does anybody want my scale?
Could upgrade a higher one.
Yeah, I know. But if I'm going to upgrade them, I'd rather upgrade both of them.
Yeah.
You dig? Uniforms. You know.
What is the AC on the scale?
Scale with or without shield?
Without.
Scale.
It's 6. It's armor class 6 without shield.
Yes, yeah,
never mind.
Yeah, it's 5. Yeah. It's not as good as mail, but it's cheaper than mail.
It will lower your speed to 6 inches. It could have repercussions if you've got dexterity bonuses.
I would hope that the cod piece is included on
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm not a monster, guys. Come on.
You sure?
Of course that's included.
All right. Can I get anything for my scale, then?
Certainly. It's
slightly used.
Worn. It's slightly used.
It is dwarven, though.
It would be.
Oh yeah, he offers you 40 gold pieces for it. That's darn near MSRP.
Yeah, all right. That works. I'll buy a great helm from you, you right cheap bastard.
All right, so you now have a great helm and plate mail. He just happens to have one that matches your suit as far as design and etching.
Mm-hmm. I have a boot that matches his ass too. Question: does the great helm actually do anything for my armor? I know in other games I've played where they've given a +1 armor class for it, but that's my question.
Here's the thing, and I'm glad you bring that up. And this is, the going into combat in AD&D without a helmet against intelligent monsters,
it's
they will swing at your head, and your head will be lower armor class overall if it is not helmed. So effectively, this makes sure that you are armor class, plate and shield, of course, is armor class 2, so that you're armor class 2 top to bottom. If you didn't have a helm, you'd be armor class 2 and then armor class 9. So it does. It does.
Does anybody here also want my large shield and my axe because I plan on getting a great sword?
Valor will take it.
You what, my large shield?
Yeah.
All yours.
All right, so you're buying a two-handed sword.
I would like one.
Sword, two-handed, 30 gold
30.
pieces.
Yep. Does D10 stroke 3d6?
Yes.
Does anybody want my battle axe?
No.
I'll give it to a follower.
All righty. Oh, thank you, sir. He is quite taken with it. He names it. He calls it Rodrigo.
And I will also spend the 5 gold to buy one for the other guy.
All righty. He does not name his, but he is thankful just the same.
Parody. Must be parody.
Not some weirdo.
I will keep my bill unless anybody wants it. Nobody wants my bill? I want my bill.
All right. So what next, adventurers? You've gotten some experience points. You've gotten some gold. We've had our shopping montage for.
I've got a shopping list here.
All right. What are you looking to buy?
Lots of things. So, but I need to get armor for myself and for my men.
All right.
I want banded armor, and I want studded leather for my four men.
All right. Banded armor is 90 gold pieces for you.
Yep.
And leather for your men.
Studded leather. It's 15 each.
Studded leather for your men. Yes, it's 15 each.
We can cut this short if you just tell me things are by the book.
They are by the book.
Because I've got a little list. But to summarize, I'm going to get a bone map case for the map that Gene has been writing as he travels.
Alrighty.
And some backpacks for us all, so we all look spiffy together.
Excellent.
And things like that. Some more rations. Don't forget rations, people.
Yes. You don't want to forget rations.
It turns out to be about 219 gold if it's all by the book. So, can I sell the old leather armor that my people had in my ring mail for something?
Yeah, the same armor will give you MSRP minus, say, 10%.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
For you. Actually, it was about the ring mail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I take the ring mail off your hands and buy a set for my guys?
Go for it.
That way they have an armor class of 6.
Yeah. Do it.
Cool. You want money for that?
No.
Okay. Figured I'd offer.
No, it's just...
It's 30 for a set of ring, right, Bill?
Yes, that is correct. All right.
Oh, no move silently checks for us.
Clink, clink, clink. I'm tiptoeing up on the dragon. Clink, clink, clink.
Okay, if we're done with the armor spree and other stuff there, is there a Temple of Celestian in Greyhawk?
Of course, there's a Temple of Celestian in Greyhawk.
Okay, then Valoric wishes to visit the temple, and he's going to make a donation of about 50 gold.
Okay.
And he's also going to find out about potions of healing, if he can acquire any.
In God we trust, my son. All others pay cash, not a potion of healing for that amount.
Not for that was a donation to the temple.
I see. Well then, they actually do have 2 potions of healing for the faithful to purchase.
Okay.
Let me see what that might cost you. Oh, you know what? Let's see. One is a potion of healing. One is a potion of extra healing.
Ah.
So a flat donation to the church. A flat donation to the church. Let me see. Would cost you it would cost $1,200 for the pair. But if we can think of some service you could perform for the church, some duty for the church, what is the nature of your travels that would take you into an area where you would require such a brew, such a tincture?
Well, we are traveling, perhaps traveling back to Castle Greyhawk.
I see. Well, it is a nefarious place.
Definitely.
So let us consider, for the time being, could you revisit us on, say, tomorrow after afternoon prayers?
Certainly.
Very well. Okay. So
now, if we can, don't forget my other dude here. He is hoping to be able to find some extra spells, perhaps, if he can find any.
Extra spells. I mean, you're a cleric. You pray for them.
No. This is Bajibas, my magic.
Oh, Bajibas.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, there's not a magic shop selling scrolls. I mean, there are shops in Greyhawk that do sell magical items, but there's no scriptorum where you can just walk in and flip through the browser. Disintegration. I'll take this.
Is there a mages guild nearby?
There's a mages college of Greyhawk.
Okay.
They are, after you do the secret handshake and everything like that, they are keen to know what precisely you are looking for.
Any spells of an offensive nature that I could use to...
Well, there's always Gust of Wind. That's pretty offensive. Have you seen the material requirements for that?
Oh, no. That's a different spell. No. Anyway, magic missile, any kind of spell that would allow me to cause some harm to creatures that are trying to cause me harm.
They do not... I mean... There's lots of mages there with spell, there's Mordenkainen occasionally visits this place, but as far as just things they'll let you have, not at present. No. We have had a dearth of such spells lately, and unfortunately, sorry, I'm getting messaged here. I just... Yes, many young adventurers such as yourself have come through and purchased spells needing such magical accoutrement, and as such, we have no scrolls or any items that could be of assistance, we fear.
Anything at all. Anything. Just even identify would be any spell.
Well, identify, yes, for 100 gold pieces. That is a spell that all young magic users should have. So for 100 gold pieces, you may copy identify into a spell book.
Thank you.
You have magical inks to scribe into your spell book with, yes?
No, I do not. How much of those?
That's how they get you.
Oh my gosh, the dice are really with you, because they happen to have magical ink in, and They have a rather large well of magical
Ooh,
ink that they
wonderful.
will sell for 500 gold pieces.
500.
But it
Yeah.
lets you write up to 5 spells.
Okay. Well, let's see. We had 800 and something down to 700 and 600. Down to 250 gold left. Okay.
You got to spend money to make money.
I'm taking it. And then I will go and copy Identify into my spell book.
Okay, and as it is an even spell, you do not need to make a saving throw for write. You simply copy it. You spend a quiet afternoon slowly copying the formulae in, and you now have the spell Identify.
Excellent. All right.
I have a question, Bill.
I have an answer.
Does Greyhawk have something equivalent to a bank?
Oh, yes. The Bank of Greyhawk.
Good. What usurious fees do they charge?
Usurious fees. Why, the fees at the bank are fair. It's fairly simple interest. It is 1% per month.
That they charge me or that I get?
Get? Why would we
Okay.
give you money for
I just wanna
using
make sure.
our guards and our strong boxes and our spells?
I just want to make sure. Okay. Because maybe at the end of this, fellow adventurers, we might want to store some here instead of just jingling our way around back and forth.
And they do coin exchange, so foreign coin, which I was a little, well, I mean, the only coins you guys brought back were melted into a lump. So, foreign coins are exchanged and so on and et cetera. So as to avoid the perhaps undue scrutiny of the town tax collectors and such.
So after my shopping, I bestow upon each one of my hirelings a whopping extra 5 gold apiece. Tell them to have a good time, but be back in the morning.
Wow, they are the men-at-arms are over the moon. 5
Yes.
gold pieces that's like...
We work hard, I will pay you. This is part of my share, it's part of yours.
Well, their loyalty is definitely higher now, and they are extremely happy to have that money.
You other folk, how much left over do we have? I've got about 450.
I have 420, a handful of silver, and I still have 500 electrum left as well.
I've got 250.
Wait, does that only adds up to like 1,000 something? So
what, 500 electrum? It's, yeah.
No. Like if we total all this up, you'd
Yeah.
still be short of
1,500.
1,500.
Can't. No levels for me.
Unless you can make a deal. Like, can you do him a favor? I don't know.
Yeah, I have a charisma of 9. He's not very. Yeah, he's just surly and looking at looking at the "you could be a warrior one day" sign in the window. Just pay 1,500 gold, and he's.
You have to be this tall to be a warrior. And you're like,
yeah, literally. And he's just looking up. And it's like, you must be this tall to ride this ride. And he's like,
Jeanine will spend a little bit of time, getting to know the city better, especially the sort of fighterly warrior section, if there is such a one, where he would eventually be training, maybe sparring at a gym. I don't know what the city of Greyhawk has in this regard.
yeah, I'll go deposit my money and then proceed to go get my followers drunk.
Well, yeah, and I mean, when you're talking about the city of Greyhawk, there is, always an opportunity for a debauch if that's what you wish to do. It is a... Let me see.
I don't give mine gold. I just beer funnel them booze.
You give them experiences.
Indeed. It's like, what happens? Well, I bought you weapons and armor that you can't, in theory, lose. So it's hard for someone to mug you. Now let's go get plastered. After I put all my money away so I don't get mugged.
Now, let's be
drinking.
100% clear. Putting your money away and not getting mugged are two entirely separate events.
Agreed. It's just decreasing the likelihood thereof. You're
Okay.
not going to want to rob me when I have 10 electrum pieces in my pocket.
That is fair. That is fair. So, yes, I mean, this is a city of easily 50,000. The city is crowded. It is bustling. Whatever diversion or service you seek out, you can get fairly easily. If you're looking for trouble, you will find it. And depending on what neighborhood you're in, even if you're not looking for trouble, you will find it. So, getting to know the city. There's the let me see here. I got my Greyhawk map, my interactive Greyhawk map up.
We may have enough for training.
Isn't there a welcome wench? In Inn of the Welcome Wench, was that?
We may have enough for training. Inn for the Welcome Wench meta is from Hamlet.
Thank you. My brain was going, an inn is popping into my mind.
Hold this up.
No. I mean, the Inn of the Welcome Wench is famous enough that if you talk to travelers and whatnot who ply the byways between Greyhawk and Verbabank, its name comes up. Ostler Gundegood is somewhat famous for his food and his hospitality in that little burg. So, Wither Ghost.
I forgot to add in my Valoric's share of the gold into the total we were trying to figure out for training funds. He has about 800 left. So
okay,
well, we can do your training. I have 400 some odd. You kind of 400 some odd. And 800, 1600.
Yeah, I have, because I can afford. Let's see here. So it's what? It's 2 electrum for 1 gold, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's 250 plus, let's say 400 to keep things easy. I can afford 650 of it. So
yeah. I'm willing to front you some cash.
Yes.
The extra we really want me to have those extra D10 hit points. Huh?
Assuming you will do the same for me when it's my turn.
No, I will pay back all debts.
Yeah. So
650, and that leaves what?
A lot. 1,000, I think, or close to it. Not quite.
900-ish.
Yeah.
I can give. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have the 450?
I can give you 400.
Okay, I'll cover the 5 then. That makes it easier to calculate. So
okay. So I owe. So let me get this straight. I owe, and I'm going to put this in great big freaking capital letters under my gold.
I owe.
Yeah,
it's
indeed.
The Greyhawk I go.
So I owe. That's 400 to Jeanin. And I owe 500 to Bajibus.
Well, no, that's actually for Valoric, the priest.
Okay. So the priest is the sucker willing to. I mean, the bleeding heart. I mean, the nice, delightful soul.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks. I owe you 2 a beer.
Yeah, that'll work.
I'd buy you one, but I'm basically broke.
It's a few beers.
Indeed.
Yeah.
How much beer could you buy with that?
If Jeanin hears him say that as he turns around, he's stopping.
There's definitely going to be a moment of, okay, let's go get plastered.
Stop. Turn. Go in there. Go into the gym.
And just come back out a week later.
Yeah. But you're going to be like,
yeah, doesn't it take doesn't it take time to level as well in AD&D?
Yeah.
Yes, it will take you a week. It will take you a week's study. Well, it depends, because you have played very well. Grading you. It is based on your grade as both a player and as an adventurer. Although more as a player, your grade basically equals 1/1, which of course, basic math tells us is 1, which equals the number of weeks you have to train. So, if you had one part of your adventure where you were like, obviously screwing around on your phone, I might rate you lower for that, that sort of thing. So in your case, it is 1 week of training. If you, and because it's the level that you're starting on times 1,500. So the next time, if you do just as well, as far as your role play acumen, it will be 3,000. It's never the cost of the level you're going to, but the level you're starting at.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm. Well, yeah, okay. How much is it for a week stay then?
Well, there's a few well-appointed travelers inns. There's the Dancing Owl Bear. There's the Green Griffin. A flop in a common room is a silver piece a night, but a decently a split room, whether you share it with an adventurer or just someone else, is 10 silver pieces a night, and your own room is 1 gold piece a night.
Can I get me and my 2 followers in a room for a gold a night?
All of you in the same room?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll put a tick in there.
It's not for those of you playing at home, as far as medieval convention goes, multiple people sleeping in a single bed was a very common thing. And like as far as the medieval world goes, people would cram 2 to like 4 people or more in a bed if the beds are big enough. So it's just like renting a room with like a king size bed by today's standards, and you just have like 3 guys just stacked out on it. It's like that.
It's like going to a gaming con.
Literally, because there weren't that many beds to go around.
It is exactly like going to a gaming con.
Yeah. So that's why I asked if I can, if those, because I'll put us up in a nice room for a week as a thanks to them, and that's why I was asking. I get a soft bed.
Yeah. Or well, if you need a little extra leg room, my lord, we can throw a straw tick in there, and one of your men can sleep on that.
Do you guys want rooms as well? I'll buy.
Sure.
Same deal. Are y'all sleeping together, or are you having separate followers, or what?
Well, there's 5 of me. There's me and my 4 men.
Yeah.
So that's probably a little bit too much for one room.
Well, that's 2 rooms for you, so that's 7. So that's 14 gold.
Yeah.
Just 1 for Aloric and Bejeebus.
Yeah. So that's another 7 for you, and then that's 7 for me. So it's 28 gold.
Okay.
I got it.
You're picking it up?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
All of a sudden, Mr. I don't have enough money to train a level.
I know. I'm noting that down.
Out there.
I know. And you're right. However, I also still have 79 Electrum pieces in my pocket. So
how many copper?
I'm just going to fund it in that.
3.
Okay.
We get all the cash, and now we get rid of all the cash.
Indeed.
That's how it works.
Indeed. I have 23 Electrum.
Yep.
First you get the money, then you get the in-room. Then you get the in-room, then you get the hirelings. All right. So for those who are interested, it is Moon Day, the 17th of Fireseek, which means it is a brisk -5 degrees outside. Wait a second. Is that? Oh, no, that's using communist measurement numbers. So -5 in normal human measurements is about
20.
20. Yeah. So it's about 20 degrees outside. And it's about 30 as a high. So it is cold, and it is light rain all this particular day.
Cool.
Literally.
So
damn cold, I think, would be it then.
Yes. So fortunately, you're training at the Fighters Guild while it is you're sleeping in a common room and so on and etc. They will keep you warm enough and well fed enough. It's all part and parcel, that you're basically in a military barracks, warm bed, 3 square meals a day, all the beatings with cloth wrapped halberds you can stand. All right. Do you want me to roll your hit points, or do you want to?
I was just about to ask, and
All right.
yeah, go ahead, because if I roll a 1, I'm just going to be angry. So if you roll the 1, I can at least be mad at you.
Yeah, exactly. You'll still be angry, but you'll be angry at me. Well, you're in luck. Nobody has to be angry at anybody for my refurbished D10 with the orange letters on the pale yellow has given you 8 hit points.
Ooh, I have a solid 14 hit points now, guys.
Everybody line up behind the fighter.
You go first.
I just pick him up and use him as a shield now.
Exactly. Just strap him to your forearm.
I am in plate now, so it'll work. Just hide behind hide behind the guy half your height.
Yeah.
You'll protect me from here down.
Literally. They have to come.
Yeah, that's when you find out that you're fighting a hill giant who's using a scorpion as a crossbow.
Yeah.
Chunk. I love hors d'oeuvres. All right. So while he is training the first day, we'll just go ahead and say that it's the first day. What are you gents doing?
Okay, this is the following day, correct?
Yes, he has gone off to Fighters Academy. You've packed him a bag lunch and written his name on it, and sent him off packing to the Greyhawk Fighters Guild.
Valoric's going to go back to the temple and inquire about those potions again.
Okay, well, I mean, they still have them. If you are interested in doing a service for the church, since you say you're going to Castle Greyhawk, it is rumored
that there's an iron golem in a tower.
No. It is rumored that in the third great underground chamber is an offense to Celestian and all those who walk the open earth. For there roam legions of undead, and they are rumored to be led by a king of ghouls.
Oh boy.
Destroy him and his followers and bring us a sign or proof that you have done so, and we will know.
Okay.
That is sufficient in exchange for these 2 potions. And indeed, they may speed you along in your path against such unspeakable evil. In fact, we'll even include 4 vials of holy water. A 200 gold piece value.
It's like the price of right
wait, there's more. Okay, so a potion of healing, potion of extra healing.
Mm-hmm. And 4 holy water. And somewhere on the 3rd level is a ghoul king and ghouls, and you have to dispose of them for the church now.
Okay.
Easy.
Yeah, no problem.
Do you doubt your courage? Should we cast a quest spell on you?
There is no doubt in my courage.
Of course.
I assisted in destroying a house full of zombies at the last time we were at Castle Greyhawk.
Really?
Indeed. I held them at bay while my companions destroyed the house that they were dwelling in.
Fascinating.
I also mentioned the robed skeleton that was in the house as well. Said I didn't exactly understand what it was. It could have just been a mere skeleton. But it did point at us and in a threatening manner.
Well, who knows what strange traps and weird happenings might go on within the castle. Perhaps it was just another of Zagig's innumerable pranks or jests, or alternately, you might now be cursed to never land a telling blow against a foe again, or your legs will rot off at the knees, or your ears will perhaps go to stone, or you will never sire children, or
I get the picture. You're doing this.
Okay, so on your way out of the temple, a beggar approaches you. Alms for the poor. Come on, help out a old man, Father. Alms.
I'll pitch him a silver piece.
Oh, wow. Oh, thank you, Father. Thank you so much. And from that corner over there and around the end of that cart over there and in that doorway over there, you hear coughing and wheezing and shuffling. And, alms, please help the poor. I've lost me arm. Guys got like a stump there. They're, please help.
How many of them are there coming out of the woodwork?
5.
5 total?
Yeah.
I'll give them each a silver as well. Tell them to be blessed by Celestian.
Oh, thank you, Father. Thank you. And they're all, 1,000 blessings on you. One is like taking his cap off and is dusting off the ends of your boots with it. They're all very, very, very grateful.
Okay. I'll go join my companions as quickly as I can possibly find them.
Okay. While he was doing that, and you are, of course, off training. Let me see here. Mark, were you just staying in? You just sitting in the inn, smoking your pipe and having your feet up, or what?
No, he spent some time not training for a new level, but sort of down at the gym or whatever,
Okay.
Training, getting to know people. But he's also, when he's at the taverns, he probably visits a couple, not the really expensive ones. He doesn't want to do that.
Sure.
He's just asking around for if other people, sussing out if there's other legends about the Greyhawk castle. He doesn't give too many specifics, but he does talk about the zombies we got rid of.
Okay.
That there's some orcs down below. There were some kobolds.
All right. You're standing talking to some rough and ready looking types on the street corner, and there is a sedan chair coming down the street. You're kind of in a narrow spot. There are there are the servants carrying it. And then there's a couple of armed men, one in front and one in behind. And the one in the front is using a sheathed, I should point that out, a sheathed sword, basically as a gaff to kind of, push people out of it. Coming through, aside, you rabble, move, damn you. And, not waiting for people before he shoves them, and being carried in the sedan chair as you're, portly, richly into, well, no, actually you can't see that because the curtains are pulled because it's freezing cold. So you would presume, given the strain on the faces of the men carrying the sedan chair, that there's a city official of size. There's the seal of the city of Greyhawk is on the door of the sedan chair. And do you say or do anything as they go by?
I back away. If one of them tries to swat me, I might do a deft little parry, but I do back away.
All right.
Parry with my hand, not with my sword, just like
right.
Not the sword.
This is not combat. Yeah. Well, not yet anyway. Let's roll initiative just to see if you step aside before because he's being very enthusiastic about keeping people out of the way.
2.
Yeah, he pushes you right in the stomach. If the sword was unsheathed, you would have basically been run through.
Grab.
And he just shoves you out of the way. It's very indifferent.
Yeah.
Nastiness. He doesn't like glare hatefully at you. Like as he's pushing you, he's yelling at somebody on the other side.
I'm just deftly, using my strength and getting rid of his sword out of my stomach as I back off.
Okay. All right. Yeah, he's pushing with some force, but he definitely wasn't expecting that. But he just kind of wrenches it. He doesn't even look at you.
Yeah.
He just sort of wrenches it away and is yelling and, continuing. And most people are getting the message now that he's kind of come around the corner and going down the street and are making way. So I think this is in reference to my other earlier comment about the weather. minus 5 degrees centigrade is 23 in freedom units. Darn right, Corian. All right, so the first day of your training, like I said, all the bruises you want, and you've learned a few things at the expense of a fingernail, but it's good. The other people who are training with you. I mean, it's very, it's not like senior drill instructor Hartman. It's very like, informative stuff. You're toughening up. You feel as though the gods are definitely favoring you. The second day, either of you going out on the second day to do anything?
I'm still doing the same. That's probably what I'll be doing though.
All right.
Week.
Bejeebus is going to go out and look for some extra daggers.
Oh yeah, you can, you can find a cutlery salesman 5-6 buildings down from the inn you guys are staying in. So, as far as the dagger goes, I think it's, what is a dagger run? Dagger and scabbard is 2 gold pieces. So the place is run by half orc. It is simply called Knife.
Valoric is also going to inspect all of his pouches and everything, because now that I thought about it, those guys could have picked me blind while I was walking down the street.
They did not. They seem to be good, honest, hardworking members of the Beggars Guild.
All right.
Question for Bejeebus then. Balak or Rondell? Or is it like a poignard?
I'm not very familiar with all the different types. So
a Balak dagger looks exactly like you think it does.
Like a dagger, okay.
With little balls on the top where the handle is.
Okay.
A Rondell one is the one with the discs on top of the bottle.
Oh, okay.
A poignard is the one you think of when you think of a guy with a really big, long bladed dagger kind of thing.
He'll probably go with a Rondell. He kind of likes the stylistic look there. Yeah.
See, I thought a rondelle was a shield. Shows what I know.
You have rondels, right? You have rondels, and then you have rondel daggers, and the rondel is just all it's describing is the disc. So the rondel meaning disc shield, rondel meaning disc on your arm. It's like everybody called everything a sword. It doesn't matter if it's a sword or a sword. It's just a sword.
Sword. Okay.
Sharp, pointy thing.
Alrighty, so spending the day out on the street. I mean, it's cold. There's, people are going to and from their affairs as quickly as possible because of the cold. A couple of days have gone by, so it is now water day. It is cold and cloudy. It is about, 25 freedom units at its warmest during the day. So, you see a fellow strolling by who looks like a rough and ready adventurer type. Let me see. Yeah, actually, it's a group of. They just give off a confident vibe. They're not arrogant. They're not like the city official and his retinue. They're kind of, but the way they're moving, just you've kind of, learned. It's like there are people in robes, heavy, warm robes in the middle of the group. A fellow in a travel-stained cloak and knee-high boots with a sword on his back and a hood over his face is leading the group. And then coming up behind at the very end are a couple of equally rough and ready types, and their heads are on a swivel. So you get the idea that that these are very experienced adventurers strolling past.
I take notice of them. Keep that as my I want to be them when I grow up type thing.
Fair enough. So that was the third day. Otherwise, nothing of interest. As far as things you're finding out about Castle Greyhawk,
Yeah.
The average person on the street, 1 in 7 of them doesn't believe it exists, that it is literally a story told to stop people from leaving the city of Greyhawk.
It should work.
3 of the remaining 7 say that it is like insert fantastical thing that it obviously could not be here. That it's a castle on the back of a giant turtle that roams around the landslide side, that it is that the creator of Castle Greyhawk has a god or multiple gods imprisoned inside it, that it is a portal to hell, that it is haunted by the souls of ancient wizards and so on who died tampering with things they ought to not. And the remaining 2 out of the 7 are like, yeah, it's a monster-filled death trap about 3 days ride to the northwest. What did you want to know about it? I mean, it's a monster-filled death trap. What else do you need to know?
Fair enough. I'll change my tack after that to finding out whether sort of if there's a type of tavern, a place where often adventurous types are hanging out.
Okay,
So
well the Green Griffin, where you actually met Robilar. Well, no, you didn't meet Robilar anywhere. None of you met Robilar. The Green Griffin is noted for being a place where many powerful adventurers have stayed.
Well, it sounds like a sort of tourist location for a young adventurer like me, so I'll have to go and spend a moment there.
Okay.
Spend some time basking in the awe that is high-level adventurers.
All right. So, you're examining the inn there. It's actually fairly plain looking. There's a large round table in the middle of the room that no one is sitting at. It looks set for like a dozen people. It dominates the center. It's kind of an L-shaped affair, the inn. You come in on the short leg and the long leg goes way back. And in the middle of the short leg, the fireplace being on the right of the door, as you come in, is where the table is. And it is set like at any minute a party might come in and sit there, but nobody in the room is sitting there. It is the evening, so traffic has started to pick up. There's a lot of people who seem to be there's a few people in there who seem to have, like, at first glance you might think, well, that's an adventurer too, but then you realize it's a little, it's a little much. Like, nobody's going to be walking around town wearing a breastplate and with a mace on their hip, unless they're like a church official, and this guy's not a church official. A couple of people accoutrement to similarly have like notebooks out and are just, with small stubs of writing charcoal or quill pens, and are kind of glancing furtively around the room. There's not too many of those. Mostly it's just ordinary looking types who come in for a drink. And are you just like ducking in and going back out? Or are you staying for a period of time?
I'll stay in. That's where I'll have my dinner, I guess.
Okay.
Have some food and drink.
All right. As you're dining, a rather richly appointed young man glides over to your table there. You're sitting on a high stool, and your table is essentially a rondelle, did I get that right, of wood, part way up a pillar. So you've got enough room for a glass and your plate.
Yeah.
Or your bowl, as the case may be. He wanders over and says, yes, good evening, my friend. I see you casting your glance around the establishment here. Are you looking for something? You're a man of taste and distinction, I can tell.
I'm looking to see what the city can offer me.
What?
Name's Jeanin, by the way.
It's good to meet you, my friend.
And
My name is Harlan.
Oh.
So you're looking for what this city can offer you.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I certainly can't speak for the city, but I can definitely offer you some finer things. Are you perhaps on such a cold evening as this looking for a little warmth, a little human companionship?
Not tonight, thank you.
Well, it's your loss, but he reaches into his doublet and pulls out a wooden coin with a reasonable facsimile of his face on one side and a street name and number on the other side. Why don't you come and see what wares we have to offer at the Golden Feather?
Oh, thank you.
Places it in front of you. The thing comes out of your mouth, and he's already moved away.
He's gone. Yeah. Okay.
He's going to another table. You don't even get the "thank you" part out. He has moved on. He is chatting up a couple, a man and a woman at a table, and just carrying over the din of the place. It is the same spiel.
What was the name of the place again?
The Golden Feather.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, James, what are you doing while all this is going on? This is day 5, by the way.
Okay,
we are on the evening
I was
of day
going
5.
to ask you about since Bajibus has found out that he can do so well with a dagger, he's wondering about multi-classing. Can that be done?
So Bajibus is human, right?
No, he's an elf.
That's right. I'm sorry. Bajibus is an elf. My mistake. So generally speaking, you start as a multi-class. You don't jump into it. It's something you do from the beginning. Since you haven't passed first level yet, I'm willing to split your XP over the other class that you just plumb forgot you had.
Okay.
So if you want to do that, if you want to take your character multi-class with it, that's fine.
Okay, that's what I was thinking about.
You could be even better at stabbing people.
Yes,
and maybe
I could even possibly use short swords or something. Who knows?
Yes.
Wouldn't he also gain like 2 hit points or something?
Because
it's like the average of the two, right?
Yeah, it's the average of the two.
So it'd be 2.5 plus 5.5.
8 hit points.
Wow, you have to roll the dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I will. since it hasn't come into play and it hasn't meant life or death for your character, and it hasn't really impacted hitting or not hitting, if you did it like at 5th level, you were like, oh yeah, can I say I was multi-classed all along? No.
Yeah.
No. This is early. This character is newly minted.
Okay.
So I can be generous. I'll give you 2 hit points.
Okay.
Addition, and say that you are multi-classed.
Awesome.
But again, take the XP you got tonight and divide them by 2, dropping any fractions.
Okay.
Over your 2 classes. So
he might want my bill hook now.
Thinking on it.
Hey, where's that scale mill? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'd like an ox tongue, please. All right.
For dinner? Okay.
I'd like that ox tongue to go. How would you like it to go? Blah, 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 blah.
Oh. It's
Value
not a D&D
viewers,
game
I
until the DM
apologize
is
for that.
making bad puns.
Yes.
Tongue tacos are still like the best thing ever.
Where the D&D means debt. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. We're going to move on. It is.
Yeah. That could change the rating of this game. So we could,
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
mean, cow
You're
tongues
going to
that
get me
goes-
demonetized is what's going to happen. So we are let's see. We are exactly at the top of the hour. You have one more day of training. I think this is a good place to wrap tonight's session.
Yeah.
Dungeon Minister. I log back. I'm going to put that up. That I log back on for an ox tongue joke. I love this channel.
good timing, Dungeon Master.
Yeah, that's like that's like perfect.
Yeah. The kindly man who is a man of faith in God, and I do not mock you for that at all. I believe myself. Comes back onto the channel and is like, well, I think I'll log in and see how they're doing. Tongue. Oh, let me just unsubscribe from this. But anyway, so we had some city adventures tonight, guys. The adventurers, they ran into beggars and city officials. There was leveling going on. The dungeon master was extremely generous a couple of times, I thought.
Yes.
And I will say that using the city encounter tables, this is the first time that a character has ever encountered a sly pimp. So it was a night of firsts. It was a night of firsts. And I wish, I wish I could have had some city terrain out, but I honestly don't think anywhere in my wall of shame of unpainted miniatures, and even my shelf of glory of painted miniatures, I have a sly pimp miniature. I just don't.
Didn't someone make a set of miniatures for the highlight table, or was that just
They
a Kickstarter that never went
did.
anywhere?
They did. That's right. People were up in arms over it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could just go and get some Call of Cthulhu minis because they've got to be in there.
Yeah. But they're all doing this.
That's fair. That's fair.
Special guest star from a.
Yeah.
James has got us familiar there.
Squeaky boo.
Yeah. Adorable. Okay, folks. Well, I hope you all enjoyed it. Tomorrow night, we are going to be back and we are going to look at the penultimate. I think of it as the penultimate original Dungeons and Dragons supplement, Gods, Demigods, and Heroes. Now, Swords and Spells is not supplement 5. A lot of people call it that. It's not that. We'll discuss that at the appropriate time. Then Thursday, Paul Stormberg will be here. And Friday, we will have the world premiere of the music video for Ghost Tower of Inverness live in the studio. Well, no, but live on Streamcast. We will have Bards of Greyhawk, and I'm hoping a special guest in addition. So be here for the rest of the week. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to my players. Thank you to our audience who sat for the Let's Play tonight. It was wonderful, and you guys, not just you guys, the players, but you guys out there in the audience, you'll get to see some Dwarven Forge soon. I promise. So have an absolutely wonderful evening, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you to our audience. Thank you to our patrons. thank you to the folks that just hang around and make this worth doing. I love all of you guys. All of you guys. So take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Good night, all.